Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Hi, good morning. This is Kashif Manzoor, and we are back with OTech Talks podcast. Almost 3 months due to some personal and professional commitments. Year 2019 months, so there are a lot of new resolutions are made, and then I'm trying to ensure that whatever how I made one of resolution that I should be talking on or covering the podcast regularly. First of our 2019 started, so I thought let's again go back and discuss on the blockchain, because some of the sites or some of the game-changing aspects which are being explored on blockchain for business. So one of the recent article from McKinsey & Company caught my attention, and the article name is just published a week back on the blockchain's Occam problem. That what's happening in that context. So today, what we're going to talk on from a 3 industry analyst point of view, my personal observation or views on that, from and then IDC, and then what we are seeing actually on ground from different or customers, and then what are our 3 key ways to work on blockchain projects. So, as McKinsey & Company's article published in Jan, I will put the blockchain problem and technology, which is expensive, complex, and there is also it's unregulated, or we can say this. Now, they put up a very good a diagram, and they compared it from a classic life cycle theory point of view, that any product or any technology which comes into play follows 4 evaluation process. I mean, life class cycle theory suggests that the evaluation of any can be divided into 4 stages, which is from pioneering and growth, maturity, and decline. And when we say pioneering, they said entrepreneurs bring prototype new technology to early adopters. So entrepreneurs bring prototype new technology to early adopters. The next phase is growth, growing market demand. Growing market leads to product standardization and enhancements. Third, growth of products and sales with fewer but dominant players. And 4 is decline, technology becomes obsolete, sales decreases, industry contracts. So they put this diagram in a context of these 4 stages. And if we can say that stage 1 is when the industry is getting started, a particular product is brought to market. And this is ahead of proven demand and often before. And then sales tend to be low and return on investment is negative. And then if you see is when demand begins to accelerate, the market expands, and then the industry or the product takes off. Now, in that context, what McKinsey & Company is saying, at today's tipping point, many prototypes have been built, but blockchain technology has not yet seen widespread application at scale, and the future remain uncertain. So that the blockchain is struggling to emerge from pioneering stage. So blockchain life cycle stage by market size. And I somehow agree with in that context, because if you see, it's stuck in stage 1 where majority of proof of concepts are in pioneering mode, are being worked up, and even many projects have not reached to the series or a series of C funding rounds. And we can think about it that one reason for the lack of progress is the emergence of competing technologies. I mean, we can see that in payments, for example, it makes sense that a shared ledger should replace or could replace the current highly intermediated system. However, blockchains are not the only game in town. So, numerous fintechs are disrupting the value chain. And in only in US, 12 billion invested in fintechs last year, and 60% was focused on payment and lending. There's a big time Swift's Global Payment Innovation Initiative is addressing a lot of initial pain points through higher transaction speed, increased transparency, building on blockchain collaboration. Now, if we will see similarly on this area, we can say blockchain, players have to work on and then show us the value on that one. So its Occam razor is a problem-solving principle that the simplest solution tends to be the best. On that basis, blockchain payments use cases may be the wrong answer, or some of the use cases. Now, if we will go to these were the articles, from a McKinsey point of view. Now, if we will go to the Gartner, what Gartner is talking about on the blockchain front, and Gartner's famous webinar from Gartner with the name of "Make Blockchain Work for Your Organization," and it's opened or started with the 2018 hype cycle blockchain business, where what to make of blockchain or what are the industries from 2 to 5 years or 5 to 10 years. And I can see most of the use cases which are talking about, from advertising or cryptocurrencies or programmable economy or even smart contracts or things as customers, blockchain in oil and gas, healthcare, blockchain education, or blockchain in contracts, retail. Most of these are falling from a scale point of view between 5 to 10 years, or even some of them are in from more than 10 years. And then this webinar is focusing on, what is blockchain in the enterprise and is it worth the hype? And in that context, Gartner is naming it into three phases, where the blockchain will create 3.1 trillion in business value by 2030. And in these three phases, phase one, irrational exuberance, few high profile successes, which is 2018 to 2021, where from a US billions or a dollars point of view, they're talking about 1.28% growth rate. And then phase two will go from larger focused investments, many successful models from 2022 to 2026. And then in phase three, large scale economic value added globally, that starts from 2027 to 2023 or 2030. In that context, if we'll see another survey from which is the source is Blockchain Status 2018 Market Adoption Reality. And the question was asked, what are your organization's plan in terms of blockchain? So that was the question. And in that question, the survey reveals that enterprises are in very early stages of blockchain use. 34% said no interest. 43% said on the radar but no action planned. And 14% said in medium or long-term planning. And only 8% said in short-term planning, actively experimenting. And only 1% have already invested and deployed. Out of this survey, from the total answers they received is 3,138. And then they named it, misalignment and misunderstanding on the blockchain. That 90% of enterprise blockchain projects are centralized designs. They don't need blockchain technology to meet requirements. Those projects can be done more quickly at lower cost with lower risk and better quality by avoiding blockchain technology. You can imagine the way this is going. And then even average blockchain processes or engagements which are falling from banking, communication, media and services, and then so on, government and retail securities. Now, if we will go back to this was some of the Gartner's insights on that one from one of the webinar. And similarly, if we'll go back and then see what IDC is mentioning about blockchain, and this IDC is which I took it as which I got it as an article, which is understanding the blockchain stack, and source is IDC, and I will put in the show notes. And in that, to this point, have offered solutions designed to illustrate how blockchain works, but not necessarily how blockchain can be used to build scalable solutions for solving problems for their enterprise clients. The next phase of development in blockchain will require vendors to be able to explain where their solutions provide value and where they fit in the blockchain stack. Vendors should adopt a common framework, one that can clearly and quickly illustrate where they are competing so technology buyers can evaluate them correctly. So the lines between layers in the blockchain model are beginning to blur, and future research will look at how vendors are operating across layers. It will also look at each layer of the blockchain stack to identify the competitive set and evaluate the vendors in that set. If we see in that, these were some of the points or key recommended actions from IDC. And similarly, if we will go back and see or summarize our learning from through the cycle of the blockchain. So what we as an organization should do it, and even before that, I can see, because I live in Dubai, and here there's a lot of focus of public sector, and then from the private sector, which they are doing a lot of blockchain POCs, or even the public sector in the lot of departments, they are already on the lot of final stages where blockchain technology is being implemented or being introduced in different public sector projects. And even the Future Blockchain Summit happened last year in April 2018, and we started seeing it again. It's going to happen in 2019 April. And there will be again a lot of customers, public sector organizations are going to present what is the progress made. So that's the ground situation on the blockchain. So what I summarized it, that our three key principles which we need to see when we are deciding blockchain, that is it right for us or is it a myth, or how to debunk the myth, or how to take a value from that context. And before go to three key principles, let's see what are the three key insights from a strategic value of blockchain which we are seeing in the market, where blockchain does not have to be a disintermediator to generate value, a fact that encourages permissioned commercial applications. And blockchain's short-term value will be predominantly in reducing cost before creating transformative business model. Blockchain is still there 3 to 5 years away from feasibility at scale, primarily because of the difficulty of resolving the competition paradox to establish common standards. So companies, which McKinsey and company is recommending two approaches. The companies should take the structured approach in their blockchain strategies. One, identify value by pragmatically and skeptically assessing impact and feasibility at a granular level and focusing on addressing true pain points with specific use cases within select industries. 2. Capture value by tailoring strategic approaches to blockchain to their market position, with consideration of measures such as ability to shape the ecosystem, establish standards, and address regulatory barriers. So what we can say that with only the right strategic approach, we can start extracting value in a short term. Otherwise, it's gonna become difficult. Now, if we summarize our findings from three industries analyst companies, Gartner, IDC, and McKinsey Company, and then even a lot of other research sources, that there are three key principles or minimum conditions we have to meet to start working on blockchain projects. One, companies or organizations must start with a problem. So we can say if there is a valid problem or a pain point, blockchain likely be a practical solution. Otherwise, we should think about maybe there is a simple solution available in enterprise applications which can be implemented and we don't need blockchain at all. And even in ground, I can say I'm seeing this in a lot of organizations where we can solve problem through the enterprise applications, but customer want, for the sake of that, what is blockchain, and I want to go with the blockchain technology. So let's go back, and organization must honestly evaluate their risk-reward appetite, level of education, and potential gain. And they should also assess the potential impact of any project and supporting business case. So that's the number one condition we have to meet, that as a blockchain project, what is our use case? And we must start with a problem. Second is, there must be a clear business case and target ROI, and why and how blockchain will transform or enable. So in that context, organizations must identify a rationale for investment that reflects their market position and which is supported at board level and by employees without fear of cannibalization. Companies should pragmatically consider their power to shape ecosystems, establish standards, and address regulatory hurdles, all of which will inform their strategic approach. Blockchain's value comes from its network effects. Who are the organizations will be on board as a network of the blockchain. So majority of stakeholders must be aligned. And then another key question on that there must be a governance agreement covering participation, ownership, maintenance, compliance, and data standards. So if we see from a three minimum conditions point of view, one, organizations must start with a problem. Two, there must be a clear business case and target ROI. The last condition, companies must agree to mandate and commit to a path to adoption. That's three. Once a use case is selected, for example, as an organization, we identify that there's a problem we're going to solve through a blockchain. And that's the only solution available in the market. And we have selected it. Then we must assess as an organization their ability to deliver. Are there sufficient economic and technological support is available? And if they pass those hurdles, the next stage is to launch design process and gather elements including the core blockchain platform and hardware or a software, or there are a blockchain as a service, platform as a service solutions are available. Then that's the secondary questions will start. And as an organization, you must then set performance targets, transaction volume, and velocity. And along with this, as an organization, you should put in place the necessary organizational frameworks. What is the communication protocol? How is going to development, configuration, and integration will be done with your enterprise applications? How are you going to production? And even how you're going to take on board from the ecosystem who are the organizations who's going to work with you. Either it's a public sector, either it's insurance companies, or either those are the banks, or either those are the other companies. Without that, there is no point to start working on the blockchain project. So with this, we can conclude our today's podcast that whoever is going to start as a blockchain project, he needs to focus as an organization, as an individual, where to compete and where to focus or be specific and find out promising use cases. There are plenty of use cases for blockchain surrounding, or you can find out when you will Google it. And even as an organization, we are seeing it, they're facing a difficult task when deciding which opportunities to pursue or which use case to start. So as an organization, you need to narrow options by taking a structured approach through a very pragmatic skepticism. And as a first step involves determining whether there is a sufficient accessible value at stake for a given use case. You need to avoid the trap of developing a solution without a problem by putting a lot of investigation to find the true pain points, the frictions for customers that blockchain could eliminate. That's very, very important. Identification of specific pain point enables us that how we can use and ability of the blockchain solution, feasibility of the blockchain solution. And another component is overall industry characteristics as well as company's expertise and capabilities. Will help you to further influence this decision. As an organization, you need to understand the basics of all these components to decide which use case will generate a solid return on investment. If a use case does not meet a minimum level of feasibility and potential return, then maybe you do not even have to consider the second step of which blockchain strategy to adopt. So with this, thank you so much. And on a personal level, I'm very humble, and thank you for all of you who ever keep sending me messages on social media and on my email from last 3 months, where we talked, we discussed, we helped each other to learn not only blockchain technology, all the emerging technologies, or all the number of business use cases or the business applications from different organizational point of view. Feel free to reach me for in any way, if I'm able to assist you or play any role in your journey of learning as we keep working in our careers. The strongest believer of social learning. And thank you so much for keep listening podcast. This podcast is available on otechtalks.tv. And just to again rephrase or restate, all these comments are my personal. It's just a disclaimer. It's nothing to do with my employer or previously or current. As a student of new technologies or emerging technologies, I just keep exploring, spending some time to learn, and then come on the stage to share with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the O Tech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.